Hello, guys. So, today we are going to see the third experiment, third lab experiment, the second program, that is implementing the file system module in Node.js. For this, the first thing is here we are trying to implement the file system. Like, how are you going to add a new file or write to the file, delete something from the file, all these things. We are going to implement those. Okay. How are you going to read, write, delete, and modify the files? Okay. So, this program will be helping you to know about all these activities. That is, how are you going to read, write, delete, or modify the files. Okay, so you are trying to interact with the file system. Okay, so for this, first what we need to do, we need to set up our project. For that, you need to create a new directory. Create a new directory. Here I am naming my new directory as fs example. That means file system example. Okay, so you create a new directory and then initiate the project. Open it in the VS Code. Initiate the project. For initiating, what we'll do, we will go to the terminal. Okay, in the terminal, what we'll do, what command we are going to use is npm space init hyphen y. When you say this, it will be creating, you will be having a only this directory without any files in it. So once you say npm init hyphen y, that we are trying to say install whatever necessary files you need. Okay, so here it will be now it will be showing you package.json file. Okay, so what packages are being installed in this? So look at that package.json. What are the dependencies here? If any dependency is required, it will be are being installed. Then it will be showing under dependencies. Okay, here we are, it is showing, as it is a simple node project. Here it is showing what is the name of the file, name of the directory, what version it is using, main, what is the main. Uh, Here it is not index.js, it is app.js. Okay, so here I'll be writing app.js. Fine, and they start this whatever we are going to write in the script, start script, that only it is going to do. That is, it will be starting the project with node app.js, and when you are using, it will be running through npm start command. Okay, directly it will be hitting app.js. Till now you might not be having this app.js file. So after having this package.json, okay, once you have package.json, you just try to create a main file, okay, which you have to run for your project. So you go to the new file, create a new file, name it as app.js. Fine, so now open the app.js and you can directly paste the code that I have given in the pdf, or okay, you can see in the code we are trying to make use of the file system module. In app.js, you can start using the file system module. So for that, what you need to do, our first line is constant fs equals to require fs is file system. Okay, fs means file system. What I require, you are trying to import it. Okay, by saying this, you are trying to import file system. Node fs module enables you to interact with the file system. Okay, so you are trying to import file system. Okay, to use promise based apis, you has to import star as fs from node fs or promises. So you, when you are using promises or callbacks, you need to say node colon fs or promises. Okay, so here if you see it, it will be showing you what module you are using. Like how we import, no, in C program and all. The same way we are trying to import. For that we are storing them in fs variable. Okay, so constant. So now we will be starting interacting with the file system. So the first what is there, we are trying to use fs module. Okay, using fs module we want to try to write data to a file. Okay, for that we are using write file write file method, which will be helping you to write into the file. Okay, the first is we are trying to write to a file. So for that what I am saying, constant data variable. Okay, variable data equals to the text what I have given, hello node.js file system. Okay, and I want fs dot write file in example dot text file, write this data. Okay, and if there is any error it has to trigger this error, that is if error, return in console dot in console, you it has to return the error, that is error writing to a file, or else in the console it has to show file written successfully. Okay, so and how and the next activity is to read from the file. So fs dot read file I am using. Read file will be helping us to read whatever there in that file. Okay, what file we have created, example dot text. If this example dot text is already existing, then it will be writing into example dot txt. Otherwise it will be creating a new example dot txt and writing to that. Okay, so that we have to see. And here, to read the data, next is to read the data from the file. To read the data from a file we are using read file method, where see how it goes. From which file we have to read it, example.txt, and this is the content type. Okay, error and the content. If there is error it has to show error reading file. Okay, in the console. uh, Otherwise, the file content has to be read and displayed. File content. Okay. Whatever file content is there, that content has to be given. Okay. And next activity is to append to the file. Appending to the file, whatever data is already there, we are trying to add some additional data to that file. Okay. So here, what I'm doing for appending to a file, I'm using append file. Okay, I'm using append file. Asynchronously appending data to a file, creating the file if it does not exist. Okay, so here we have to say, you see what it is saying, append file. To which file we have to mention, that is example.txt only, and that additional data whatever we are trying to store in the next line, what we are saying in the additional data, what is stored, this is an appended line. Okay, in the next line, that's why I'm using new line command, and this is an append line. So this line has to be added to the previous example.txt what we have written in that file. Okay, now what we are saying, once it is the content has been appended, it has to say show in the console that data appended successfully. Okay, next is check if the file exists or not. If the file exists or not, this is the next activity. That is, for that we have to use access. It will be testing a user permission for the file or the directory specified by the path. Okay, here we are trying to access the file. So which file we are trying to access, that is example.txt. So fs.constants f. Okay, that is constant for fs dot access. File is visible to the calling process or not, we are checking whether file is visible for the calling process or not, we are checking. And the error, if there is an error in accessing that file, then you need to say file does not exist, else you need to show that in the console that file exists. And if we want to, the next activity is to delete the file. So once we have accessed that file. So for deleting we need to use unlink. Okay, unlink which file? Example.txt. And if there is any error, it has to throw an error, that error deleting file. Otherwise it should, if it is successfully happened, then it should show file deleted successfully. Done. So this is about the code that has been written in app.js. Okay, and appending a file, we have seen writing to a file, uh, accessing the file, deleting the file. Okay, the methods we have seen. Now combine all operations in app.js, write everything in your app.js. So complete program you write in app.js. Fine. Next is to run the project. Okay, now we have to run our application. So in the terminal, go to the terminal and execute the application. For executing the application we need to use node app.js. Okay, that is the name of the file, right? App.js. So what it is saying, the first content of the code, that is we are trying to write something to the file by creating a file, that is example.txt. So it has file written successfully. Next is for reading. Okay, this has executed. So it is showing what is the file content. Hello Node.js file system. Okay, that is what we have written, right? And next is we are trying to append to the file additional data. Okay, file content we are trying to access. Hello, this line already it is there, and data appended successfully it is showing, right? Next is we are trying to access the file, that is whether the file exists or not. So this command we are using fs.access. So it is showing file exists till now. Okay, after we found the file that is existed, we are trying to delete the file using unlink. Okay, now the file deleted successfully. If you see, if you run till here, make it comment. Okay, comment it and see. You can check in your, you will be finding example.txt. Okay, in your directory. Till then, fine. Thank you all. Keep learning.